أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الله الكبير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله الكبير. We are all grateful to God for giving us this opportunity that we are here and we have given another chance by God to redeem ourselves and get closer to Him. And this is a unique opportunity for us to be grateful to the source of all of these blessings that we have. And so make sure that we are responding to God and at all time, no matter what the circumstances are. And we should never lose faith in Him and His mercy and His generosity and His infinite grace that we enjoy every day of our lives. And so there are reasons for things the way they happen, and we have to go through this life with dignity and with persevere the outcome of everything that happens to us, and we should be grateful to the source of all of the generosity and blessings that He's given us, and so there is a reason for things, and all those reasons are all at God, and we have to put our trust in Him and make sure that we understand it. And so today, what I want to do is I want to go to the Quran, and these are verses 5 through 7 that I'm going to read from the Quran. And God is telling us about embryology, and He's talking to us about death and resurrection. And so we read this together, and God says, this is again also it's good news as well as a warning. And God knows that a lot of people have problems with resurrection, and so He wants to put our mind at rest and our hearts at rest so we can actually believe in the resurrection. And so He says that, oh, you people, if you are in doubt about the resurrection, then we indeed created you from clay, then from semen, then from an embryo, then from a fetus, which was deemed created or not created, in order to clarify for you. And we place in the wombs what we will for a predetermined interim. Then we bring you out as a baby. Then we develop you to full maturity. And amongst you are some who die and some who reach the oldest age, in order to realize that nothing can be learned any longer. And then God brings this parable here, this example for us. And you see the barren land. There's nothing there. And then we send down water upon it, whereby it vibrates, multiplies, and grows all kinds of beautiful things. Okay? So at the very beginning, God told us that created you from clay. So we're just like those plants. And God tells us that. He says we grow you out of the ground like plants. And this is God's creation. So how can God do this? And God says this is because God indeed is the truth. This creation and death that we go through in this worldly life, it's because God is the truth, and this is the truth. And He indeed resurrects the dead. So again, God stresses this. And so I want to actually, I would use indeed 3 times in this verse. And indeed, He is all powerful over all things. Okay, so I wanted to stress this because there are 3 indeed in this thing in Arabic. Okay. ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وأنه يحيي الموتى وأنه على كل شيء قدير Okay? So, Anna Allah, indeed God, wa annahu, and indeed He, wa annahu, again, indeed He, wants to actually emphasize this fact that He is the one who gives life to the dead. Okay. Then God, again, in verse 7 of chapter 22, He tells us that, and indeed the hour is coming without a doubt. Okay. Again, وَأَنَّ السَّاعَةُ آتِيَةٌ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهَا. Okay. So God is again stressing the fact that the hour of resurrection is coming. And there's no doubt about it. La rayba fiha. There is no doubt in it. And surely God resurrects those who are in graves. Okay? So, you pass by these graveyards and you think that they're going to be there forever. People think that way. People don't think any other ways. And there are graveyards that we don't even know about them. Okay? We have no idea. Throughout millennia and, passing of the time and natural disasters and wars and everything, and those graveyards are not even known. There's just some dusty bones laying around here or there. And God resurrects those who are in graves. And again, I go back to this. Go back to this fact. That if you have a microscopic piece of a human being, and that piece is your DNA, and your DNA is everywhere. You lose your hair, your DNA is there. Okay? And from that DNA, people can actually clone somebody who's exactly like you. We have no excuse to have doubts in the hereafter and the power of God. We have to take that to heart and put our trust in Him. That's what we have to do. Otherwise, we're going to fail. Okay? And this chapter 22, which is called the pilgrimage, and verse 5, it gives us the exact creation of human being and how it is like the barren land. The barren land that you're looking at, you didn't put a seed in there. Remember that. You did not put the seed. Did you put the seed of the wheat in your garden? No, but it grows. Where is it coming from? Weeds are so annoying, aren't they? You go in there, you pull them out, but it grows again. Where is it coming from? He said, I created you, we create you from clay. Okay? Listen to me, that you grow out of this earth just like plants. Where did it come from? Where's the egg? Where's the seed? There's nothing there. And then it tells us about semen. Semen is created for procreation, not for lust. Okay? We use it that way. And we see the consequences of it. And they are not pleasant. So I talked about this. The entire reproductive system is designed for procreation, not for lustful activities. I mean, we just see the grossness of homosexuality and things, where actually the reproductive system is used and digestive system is used for lust. Okay, purely. And God warns us about the evils of this kind of usage of the blessings that God has bestowed upon us. And the consequences are grave. They're not easy. It's not easy to bear. So in this life, in this worldly life, we have to be very careful. We have to pay attention to these verses that God is telling us about. Okay? You know, there's argument here in the case of abortion. It says that then from a fetus, which was deemed created or not created. So they're saying, when is a fetus going to be? It's going to be deemed as a person, as a living human being. They argue about that. We argue about it. In order to clarify for you that this is part of the creation of God. God's creation is based on these biological and chemical and biochemical processes. And we cannot interrupt or disrupt it. And argue about it and misuse and abuse it. Okay? And then God says, well, some of you died. Well, they just, there was an infant that was born in Ukraine, and a Russian missile came and hit this nursery, and the baby died. Okay? 3 days old. So that's part of that. Amongst you are some who died, and some who reached the oldest age. Okay? Some people live to be 110 years old. Some people, hey, you can get the thing and find out about it. Okay? Supercentenarian or something they call it. You can Google it and see how many are alive that are over 110 years old. And then God says that, it says in order to realize that nothing can be learned any longer. Your brain cannot absorb and process and things like that you had that when you were 20 years old. Those processes are impossible. Okay? And then you say, you look at the barren land, and that's what I said. Okay? And we have to ask those questions. Where is the wheat coming from? I didn't plant the wheat. They're very annoying, but they grow. As they say, they grow like weeds. And that's exactly it is. Okay? As soon as the rain comes, it becomes a jungle. And so, where is it coming from? God says, this is how I do it. Okay? We then send down water upon it, whereby it vibrates, multiplies, and grows all kinds of beautiful things. When you go to a pristine forest, you see all kinds of beautiful things. Flowers and everything. There's no gardener, no landscaping, nothing. Just the beauty, natural beauty of that by itself. And then he tells you why. This is because God indeed is the truth. Remember? The truth creates. Okay? That's what the Genesis comes from. It is creation of something from nothing. Has nothing to do with equations anymore, my friends. And God creates that for you. So we have to think about these verses and lead our lives accordingly. Then you see we won't be affected by the thing that are in this worldly life. because we know better. We know the mechanism of this, what the mechanism is. And there is a reason that God does what he does. And if we do not understand some of those reasons, we have to put our trust in God and persevere. Okay? We have to endeavor to persevere. Okay? This should be our lot with trust in God. And then we'll be free. Otherwise, we'll be affected by what's going on around us. And that is going to eventually take us away from God. So again, 3 verses only. And I talked about it for almost 20 minutes. Okay? 18 minutes, 17 minutes. And so we have to ponder and again understand these things. Understand the plan that God has for us and abide by it and trust in him. And then we'll lead a righteous life. Let's put it that way. Not that we only believe in God, but we also lead a righteous life. And obviously, the idea of believing in the hereafter, that God is talking about it here. He's telling us about it. Okay? And he knows that we have doubts. And he tries to explain this to us the best way that we can understand. But again, the ball is in our court. We have to pay attention. Okay? Let's put it that way. So I'm going to stop here.